Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we have the game that split the internet in half. Forum admins, ready your banhammers, cause trolls are ready to flood the boards yet again. Got another round of hot fixes. Devs are working around the clock to put out the fire, as the co-founder is forced to apologize. And the gaming community? Well, the gaming community is still the same. Join me and my co-host as we tackle on 2020's hot mess, Cyberpunk 2077. And we are back after that obviously not pre-recorded video. Like I said, I am joined by my hosts tonight, starting with Edward.
Hello.
Stefan.
What's up, chooms?
And Chris.
Hey,
Unfortunately, Shobo could not join us tonight because he is not feeling well tonight, so we will miss him dearly.
he has a bad case of cyberpsychosis.
Yes. That those fish at the market have started to go up to his guts. Anyway. So, as mentioned, today we are talking about Cyberpunk. A big bomb, something that kind of split the internet in half, and it's currently a bigger war than in America. Regarding the developer that made this game, we know him as the Polish developer CD Projekt Red. What many people don't know is how they started off back in the 80s, late 80s, selling games, pirated games, on the market by two people, the co-founders. This brings me flashbacks to how people used to sell pirated video games on CDs in like the plaza. Have you guys met some kind of people like that?
Can't
Never
say I
bought
have.
games. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dad used to buy me pirated games of the fucking random stalls.
I remember seeing Jedi Academy on one of those. But anyway, back after they decided to go legit, shockingly, they founded CD Projekt Red, and they started off as a company that localized video games for the Polish audience. Their first success was the PC game Ace Ventura in '96, followed off by the BioWare game called Classic Baldur's Gate. And they broke in 2007 the market with the first launch, aka The Witcher 1, which they managed to get the license from the author on a shoestring budget, because clearly the author would not make such a fuss about wanting more money after a success of the third game. But given the fact that CD Projekt Red is only known for The Witcher, is only half the story, because today we're taking a deep dive into the future with the game that, well, polarized the company more than ever. Guys, what do you think about Cyberpunk?
As an initial impression, I went in blank, barely watched like the 2018 and 2019 trailers, and then I didn't think anything of it. I went in with zero expectations, and it kind of helped me. I appreciate it more now because I went in with zero expectations.
Unlike a lot of people on the internet, though.
Yep.
Chris,
No,
do you have any? Oh, Eddie, please.
No, I was about to say I'm gonna go last.
Oh, okay. Chris, do you have any thoughts?
Well, kind of like Steven, I also went in with. I had some expectations. Like, I'm thinking, okay, this is CD Projekt Red. The last game was Witcher 3. Witcher 3 was a freaking Game of the Year masterpiece. I'm thinking, they better do this right. I'm not a huge fan of cyberpunk, like cyberpunk genre and cyberpunk like games. I think they're cool, but I'm not really super into them. Like I don't scour the market for anything of that genre. So going into it, really the only expectation I had was that it should be not at the same level as Witcher 3, but at least close to it.
So from what you're telling, you guys are like on a like step 1, step 2, step 3. Steven being step 1, Chris being like the next step, and I was actually hyped for this game because I enjoy the cyberpunk genre, well, to an extent, of course. I'm not crazed. I see some neon cyberpunk bullshit, suddenly I go bananas over it. No, but I had some expectations, which near the release, or I should say the first window of release before the delay started happening, I started lowering and lowering and lowering to the point that I was like, I just want to play the game. And
understandably so.
Honestly, I was not expecting this game to cure cancer upon release because, let's be real, that would never happen.
I think it caused more cancer than cured.
Well, if you're reading Reddit, then most definitely yes. Anyway, so Edward, you said you want to be last. Could you share your thoughts?
I mean, I had no expectations.
So
I
you're
wasn't hyped for it.
so you're step 0. You're the ground level.
I basically was one of the handful of people on the planet who actually gave zero fucks about this game. I didn't care for them delaying it. I felt bad for the people who were hyped for it, but whenever they came out with another delay, but no skin off my rectum whenever it came to it. And after release, I just had my fill with it. Not because of the game, mostly because of all the people that started talking about it. Like,
Yes,
I couldn't go anywhere.
Mostly us.
No, not mostly you. Mostly everybody. At work, people were talking about it. With you guys, you were talking about it. The internet, every fucking thumbnail on YouTube was a Cyberpunk thumbnail. Even though some of the videos weren't even about Cyberpunk, but sure, okay. You gotta get that clout, you gotta get those clicks, I get it. So I basically had that, it had that effect on me that when something becomes way too popular, way too fast, for good or bad reasons, people who are just on the sidelines not giving a shit, they just get their fill with it.
So
it might have impacted my opinion on the actual game when I played it, because I don't hate it, but I don't like it either. I'm just neutral. I actually don't give a flying ass about it.
the way you explain it, it's basically like the whole Justin Bieber shit when he first came out. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I had the
something
same.
like that.
I had
But-
the same opinion with like Deadpool when it first came out. Like everybody was praising it. Oh, it was the best movie ever. Blah blah blah. And I watched it and I was like, okay, it's fine. So yeah, I know what you mean.
The people who say that about Deadpool, I mean, it's a good movie, but I'm pretty sure they've never seen another movie in their life.
Yeah,
That must have been their
YouTube
first
was-
movie and only movie.
YouTube was filled with those kinds of videos, and yeah, I understand your pain, Edward.
Well, don't get your nipples twisted because here comes the third movie, though.
But yeah, as closing thoughts for me, well, Cyberpunk is just Cyberpunk, and to this day I still don't get why people were so hyped about it. Because what happened to them, well, I'll touch on this a bit later, but I like to call it the Phantom Menace effect. And
god damn.
I mean, I challenge anybody to discuss with me on this topic and tell
No,
me it's
I'm
not the
not-
fan. No, not you guys. I mean, people in the comments. Go wild. Tell me I'm a fucking retard and I don't deserve to be on the podcast
You know what?
because of
If
comparing
people
this to the Phantom Menace. But it's true, and you know it's true.
if people are gonna attack you based on that, I'm gonna fucking stand as your shield because I agree with you.
No, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But I'll touch on that. I'll see when it's more relevant. Right now, it's just initial thoughts, and my initial thoughts are I'm neutral.
Okay, guys, so we're gonna go on to the next topic, and I think we have to take off the kitty gloves now because we're diving into whole the whole options and UI and basically the whole debacle, which is gonna start from this point only.
I want to
So
go a bit because I have little thoughts on this. Related to options, so yeah, finally I have a good PC. So yay. I went everything on ultra with RTX activated, and well, the game is very pretty. I don't yeah, I
did,
couldn't see a difference between like medium to high. Sadly,
did it
or
shit the bed and you're at the end?
what?
Did it shit the bed on when it comes to ray tracing?
No, like I activated ray tracing and I saw no differences. I don't know, maybe I wasn't paying that much attention before. But yeah, I couldn't see any difference. The only option I wish the game had, and I don't know if if I missed it, is basically when I was driving my car in the desert and I was on first person mode, my retinas were burning because of the light.
Okay,
Uh,
I'm gonna be the same person ask you why are you're playing your same first person mode as in from the player's point of view from inside the car or from the mouth of the car, because if you did the second option I'm gonna ask you why are you like this.
Wait, you only have like 3 views. It's like it's like the first person inside the car, then there is like third person, and there is like a closer third person in the car.
Yeah,
There is no like on the
those are the three options.
camera. So I was like entirely I drove like 99% of the game inside of the car, like first person. That's what I meant. And there is an effect, at least that's what I was gonna say. There's an effect that the sun shines so bright on the front of the car that
Room?
it's almost impossible to see. And
Usually
I
happens.
haven't found an option to turn that off, and it's so annoying. And yeah, the UI and about the UI is very simplistic, and it's all right that it's simplistic, but I think I would have preferred more of an RPG style UI in this, like you know when you had 1, 2, 3, 4 till 0, but sadly you only have very few hotkey options for this.
To preface, since I don't believe I mentioned it, we're all speaking about the PC version. The console version we'll discuss a bit later on. So
Yeah, and these are my thoughts on the options and UI.
okay, Chris, since you are the next person in terms of horsepower at your PC, how was your experience?
Encountered no issues. Like everything was running pretty smooth. I don't think I've had an FPS drop. At least I don't remember any. And yeah, game looks gorgeous. I'm not talking about graphics here, but still, I wanted to mention. Uh, options wise, I think it's just all the big boy PC options there, like Steven said, with ray tracing and light shafts and all that goody, good, good eye candy. And UI wise, my opinion's the same as Steven's. Just it's simple, and I think I also would have liked the extra options. I'm not sure there's a hotkey for like eating food or drink, because it gives that little buff, or switching maybe some some cyberware around maybe, or things of that nature perhaps. Otherwise, it's fine.
Edward, any thoughts?
Well, if we're talking options, UI design optimization, I did like the UI design. Felt like, most first-person RPGs out there. Nothing really that special that stood out to me. The options menu was well made. A lot of options to fiddle around with. A lot of customization depending on how you want to play. And the optimization, I mean, my PC is okay, it's a mid-range, and I was able to play it. No FPS dips, no, well, none that I can think of. Sometimes in the city, when a lot of stuff was loading in, that's when maybe I would tank down from a steady 60 to a maybe 45-ish, 50 FPS. But that's kind of it.
I see.
But yeah, that's kind of, I don't really have much to praise because they didn't really do anything new or special with the UI design options and optimization. Come on, like, it's even sad that we have to talk about optimization this day and age. The games should work as intended.
Oh boy. Yeah. What can I say? Given the fact that this game has that whole aesthetic with how is it called?
Cyberpunk aesthetic.
No.
The AI interface and all that. Or what?
Yeah, kind of like that. I'm surprised they didn't have the same thing like with Doom Eternal, for example, where you had the option to actually change the colors menu. I mean, this kind of thing is the way the UI is as simple as this, since it doesn't have too many details. Was just the perfect thing, kind of menu you could actually go and be like, yeah, we can change this. Why not? But then again,
if I were to wager a guess, I think they had too much on their plate to play around with small details like this.
Too much or too little too less time, because yeah.
No, basically too much on their plate, like the scope of the game and what they wanted to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And what they said they wanted to do with it and what came out. I mean,
I have a lot of things to discuss when we're getting to game design, because oh boy, there are a lot of things that I found that they were cut. But yeah. So in terms of, let's go on to how the city looks. Guys, how did you enjoy your visual stay in Night City? Stefan, you have anyone wants to take the first piece of this discussion?
I'll go again. First, I mean, honestly, it looks really good. Even from afar and from up close, I found that the quality of how everything looks is pretty good. I haven't found any weird model that looks malformed or something like that.
So you never found a mirror in the game, right?
Oh,
I found plenty of mirror surfaces. Wait, you're talking about my character?
No, sadly.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, so it looks really well. And I don't have anything else to add to this because it looks good.
okay.
Kind of the same. There are a lot of details crammed into the game, I have to say. Just people's appearances, surfaces, all the types of districts there are in the game. There's really some cool vistas, like that you can experience. Some of them you can see doing some of the side quests or the main mission. If you take a minute to admire. And yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, if I can add something, if this goes into the graphics, I really appreciate, since as I said, I played it on first-person mode. I really appreciate the inside of the cars, like those
Yeah, they're nice. Very nice.
Those that's mainly the reason I played it in first person, because boy, those were more detailed than they ever had any right to be. Like, I don't know. Also, the cars in general. I remember Chobo telling me, "Oh, don't buy any cars because you get plenty of free vehicles throughout the game." But I couldn't. I couldn't. I couldn't stop buying cars. It became an addiction. They're so well made. I love them.
God,
Someone in the group would do cocaine. I think that would be you, because you're addicted to all kinds of shit.
This motherfucker right here, CD Projekt Red, spills blood, sweat, and man hours to make a beautiful city, and he just praises the cars.
Dude, they're like the interior of the cars are more detailed than any racing games out there. Like, it's ridiculous. That's why I'm praising it.
Cool. They're cool and detailed.
Jesus Christ! If given Steven's history with Total War Warhammer, God forbid if he would have ever got into gacha games.
Or
Yeah.
if he ever had enough money to actually collect cars
Yeah,
in real life.
Oh boy.
I can already tell he'd be outside all day long in his cars being, "Oh, you're so detailed. Can't believe the manufacturer put so much detail into you." While stroking the fucking board.
Yeah,
only-
cooking
the only
little
car-
board.
The only cars you could ever get are Hot Wheels. So yeah.
and to add, because you were making fun of not praising the city, like the city did look really good, and I did find some areas that are pretty bland, but they were like corners or like rooftops that you would barely visit. And
This guy is saying, they're not very detailed. Looks at a corner of a block. Interesting.
or not really. There was like a zone where that I recently found that is basically on a rooftop near a highway, and it was really not that detailed either way. And even but
Because you'd have to be a fucking maniac to live near the highway.
yeah, true.
At this point, that's nitpicking.
Still, yeah, it's a bit nitpicky, but surprisingly, they also built a pretty desert, like a really well made. I don't know. It looks
Fucking sand.
I love sand. It's rough and coarse, and it gets everywhere. I love it.
I mean, you had a bunch of weather effects. Like, you could have sandstorms. You could see a sandstorm in the distance, like in that one side quest, and also, randomly just going through the desert. So, it was cool.
Yeah, whenever that would happen, I would just decide, yeah, I'm gonna just time skip because this is not, yeah. Okay, so, but here's the thing. Given the fact that we have other Cyberpunk games that came out before this one, how do you think that they, rank up to this? I mean, we have, let's go, for example, another video game that is still with the Cyberpunk aesthetic, Shadowrun. I know it's a different type of game, but still, the aesthetic is mostly similar. How do you think it ranks up to that?
I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I never played Shadowrun.
It's not fair to compare it to Shadowrun because Shadowrun didn't have the AAA budget this game had, and
True, but I'm talking about aesthetics.
like it's I don't know. Aesthetically speaking, it's similar-ish.
Because we're presented with the same kind of things. We are presented with barren wastelands, with suburbs, with ghettos, with corpo buildings and everything.
I think it would be a more fair comparison if you compared it a bit with Deus Ex, the new ones.
What?
Yeah, Deus Ex, yes.
Deus Ex, if the game would have been set in what it was originally supposed to be, aka the initial project of the game, such as in 2022, because the board game is set in 2020, then yes, I would actually say it would be closer because Deus Ex is a bit more closer to our timeline in terms of how the buildings are structured. Just if technology evolved a bit faster, because you see a lot more people with because in Cyberpunk you see every person on the street has a freaking cybernetic. In
Dude,
Deus Ex, it's
wait
you
a
have
minute.
what
We had flashbacks from 2020 in Night City. It's basically the same, is this basically the same city almost. Or firstly, and secondly, like of course I'm gonna compare it with Deus Ex because Deus Ex is also a cyberpunk genre game.
And
So
RPG-ish.
it's and it's an RPG also, and it fits more this comparison than with Shadowrun. Because Shadowrun you don't really see that much detail. It's you can't compare it.
honestly, I saw it more in terms of the cyberpunk elements. I would see more in this game rather than in Deus Ex. But then again,
There's
Be
plenty.
sure.
There's plenty of like aesthetic details in Deus Ex that could compare with Cyberpunk.
I just want to ask, where is this discussion going? Like, what exactly do you guys want to underline? Is it immersive? Which one is more immersive?
I'm trying
Which one tackles the theme of cyberpunk better?
to.
Because if that's the case, both have different takes, in my opinion. And which one feels more realistic? And I don't mean like realistic, like these textures are beautiful. I like which one is more believable as a cyberpunk universe. What exactly do you want to go with these?
If there ever was a nail, you basically just hit it right in the middle. So
No, he
yeah.
just has
So
to-
I gave you three options and you said I was right, but which one of the three options is
No,
what you want?
this is basically
Yes.
this is basically the discussion, the whole discussion. So Edward, do you have anything to weigh on to this?
Me?
Yes.
Well, aesthetically speaking, strictly speaking about Cyberpunk, I felt immersed in the beginning. I did a corpo run at first. So in the beginning, you have a sequence where your big boss sends you with a little limo, I guess, floaty limo, where you can drink and have a good time while you go to meet Jackie at the pub, or not pub, a bar. That was the most immersed I felt in the game because the skyline during the night actually looked good. After that, the world opened up after the first mission with Jackie or whatever, and I kind of lost interest in the world. Like, sure, there were details there, but I've played a lot of open world games, either RPGs or Ubisoft games, because let's be honest, Ubisoft exclusively does open world games. And it kind of felt the same, like a big world where they threw NPCs in it, but that's just it. I was looking at them and they were just that, NPCs. It didn't really feel real. Sure, if you just play through the game and don't pay attention to that, you won't notice it. But I wanted to look at them and see exactly what they did with the AI, how were they gonna make this world believable. At least for me, it didn't really hit.
Well,
Most of the world what I explored felt bland. I did like the enhancements people had. Like they put details in the actual character design of most NPCs. I didn't really find NPCs that looked the same, but their behavior and what they did in the world kind of felt like, okay, I'm gonna program you to walk from this point to this point, and that's it. Or you will stand in front of the stand and be like, give me a discount, something like that. But that's it. They wouldn't walk away frustrated. And I'm not saying a lot of games do that. Pretty complicated to do in a big scope game like this. But you kind of lose immersion if you just pay attention to shit like this.
I think we're 50 years too early for that kind of AI for an overworld.
I mean,
I think Red Dead 2 did that.
Yeah, it can be done. Like, Red Dead 2, for example, did it pretty well, from what I understand.
It could be done. I'm not saying no, but I'm saying it's too. I don't. It's just a niche that hasn't been fully adopted by the game industry for.
All right, then I'm not gonna talk about the NPCs anymore. I'm gonna talk about the world itself, and the world felt bland, at least in the sunlight. when the sun went down and you had nighttime and you had all the lights, you felt like in Vegas throughout the entire city. Sure, that looked great.
I mean, it's
That's
called
why
Night
that-
City for a reason, huh?
Yeah.
Well, yes, but that doesn't excuse the fact that when the sun is up, everything is bland. Like, take for example Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
That game is a motherfucking desert. In the sun always. Well, there is nighttime too, but while in the sun, that game still is immersive as hell. You're in a
Ignore-
fucking desert and you still feel like you're in a desert and you're in that world.
Mhm.
They just do it differently.
More sand.
Yes.
I might have a. I don't know. Cyberpunk has always been presented, at least from what I've seen, at nighttime, because the genre is inspired by film noir. So yeah, I agree with you that it's like more attractive to look at during nighttime. Because if you look at, for example, movies like Blade Runner, that's when every neon pops up and like you can see the detail and the strange beauty of the city. So I do agree. Also in Deus Ex is the same thing. Like you can play 40 hours in that game and it's always nighttime. So yeah, I do understand what you say, but I think it's a fault of the genre. Maybe that's what
Well,
I'm pouring on it.
Now I didn't explore all that much, but I think what could have helped is if the city was a bit more divided, socially speaking. Like, you'd have a part of the city that was more bourgeoisie, another part of the city that was more of a ghetto.
It is. We're talking.
I didn't find it. Well, I didn't explore the entire city
That's
because I'm
because
not a
the-
madman. But
Well, we're speaking of the one that is kind of the ghetto we're talking about. I would refer to Pacifica, which is basically
the thing is, in my experience at least, while exploring, everything on the main roads felt like solid, let's say, not really rich people, but solid middle-wage family residents. Once I went into a back alley, it felt like a ghetto. Like, it felt like everything was just combined. No real distinction.
There's plenty of ghettos in the game. There's like at least two zones that are ghettos, and if you go, yeah, it's pretty shitty. If you go to like Japan town, I think that's where you went. It's a bit more mixed. Like you can see there's zones that are really clean, and you can see people that are presentable, and then as you said, you go into an alley and it's like a fucking pigsty. But as you go closer to the city center, you see like office buildings, and mainly people are dressed in suits. So it is like a
Yeah. And once you go into a back alley in that part of the city with the suits and the office buildings and whatever, it still feels like a ghetto. Like you could still find gang members gang banging behind those buildings or trying to hold you up for
I
money.
think we're basically just. I believe this is the classic divide between the upper levels are just higher echelon corporation people, where the lower levels where we mostly do our shit is just common folk. That's why they all look the same. I don't know. I mean, we know just because in missions we see the upper levels of buildings where you can see the corpos and all that shit. You don't actually get to explore that much of those buildings as part of the open world, because I believe that would actually.
But that's what I'm saying, that everything feels like it's combined. Like what Stefan said, I believe him, but those things he said about the ghetto I can still find in the corporate zones. Like, why not have something different there, just so divide a bit, like make it memorable? Because I have a hard time remembering parts of the city of Night City, because for me at least it didn't feel memorable. Ask me about any zone in Vampire the Masquerade and I'm gonna fucking describe it like an architect.
That's because you played that game how many times?
Vampire the Masquerade, played it 3 times, I think. Okay, counter argument, I played New Vegas once. I can still describe most of the zones in New Vegas because they're more memorable.
Yeah, but how many hours did you play New Vegas compared to Cyberpunk? Counter argument.
Counter, you've activated my trap card. I like New Vegas.
I guess there is also a zone that was supposed to be like Hollywood in the city, and but sadly, I from what I've read, what videos I saw, it is like it has been slightly cut.
There are only like a couple of missions that are only there. And those
Yeah,
are
because there was supposed to be a big casino there in that zone, but you don't have
oh
access.
yeah, gambling.
Yeah, it's cut. But yeah, that's. If you have anything else to add to the about the city, guys.
Nah, I'm basically just
I said my piece, and apparently you guys don't agree. So
Slightly, I agree with you.
Yeah, I agree on some accounts. Like there are some zones that I couldn't tell the difference between them. Like I don't know, Haywood and.
I mean,
Watson.
I'm not gonna be an extremist and say, oh, I couldn't make the desert and the city look the same. No, I'm just talking about the city.
the feeling of how you go through one neighborhood to another. Yeah, I can see that being the main argument, but in terms of how the actual neighborhood looks aesthetically, you can actually see a bit of the difference depending on the part of the town. But then again, yeah, if you're not paying attention to it, yeah, you may say that. Yeah, I didn't see it that much.
It's a bit difficult to see the sometimes, yeah.
It's because some of them are actually older buildings that have been upgraded. Others just are new buildings that have been going through the ages, etc. Yeah. Okay, guys. I think we're done enough googling the graphics because depending on the graphics card, which are now expensive as heck at the time of this recording, let's mosey on to how the gameplay is. So, being this game being a shooter RPG, to the point where I don't know, at sometimes it felt like I was playing a Bioware game, aka Mass Effect.
No, don't you dare compare this game to Mass Effect.
I knew if I was gonna mention this, you're gonna
that game, even though people might say the ending is shit, which in some accounts it might be, the trilogy as a whole is a fucking masterpiece. Don't.
So we have an FPS RPG. We have the multiple options, and of course the option to bang. And you're telling, and it's in the future. I'm seeing a lot of.
Look, I'm just gonna say one thing. Cyberpunk doesn't have Tali. I rest my case.
I mean, it has Judy, so I rest mine.
I agree with
Steven will agree.
And Panam, don't forget Panam.
Of course, yeah.
I do have one thing to say before I actually talk about the gameplay loop. The first, I don't know, hour, I had the feeling of, man, I wish this was Deus Ex, because I was really familiar with it. And, but I had
expectation.
As I said, during the first 1 hour and a half of the game, I was thinking that. But after I got more comfortable with the mechanics, and how it was presented, I grew to be more comfortable and to actually like it. So, for example, yeah, sorry.
In what kind of familiarity do you mean?
Oh,
Just because you started this. Oh wait. What did you start off as? Corpo?
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably that's why. Because
Adam Jensen was a corpo.
Yeah, exactly. Adam Jensen is the corpo. So. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it was presented, and that initial mission in Deus Ex is with going lethal or non-lethal. It was really much more. It was better explained that in this game at first. And one other thing, the non-lethal part of this game, I don't know if there's some secret thing about it, but there's no point to
I
it.
don't think there is. The thing is, in Deus Ex, you have this whole more dilemma about whether to kill people
Or not.
or not kill them. But in Cyberpunk, even if you go corporal, like this is a dog eats dog world.
I think
People are just
morality
material
was the
things that
last
can
thing.
be disposed of. So yeah, it's not the
Morale-
same theme here. That's why it's not so much of an accent to put on.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
So,
The f-
how would you guys like the gameplay loop?
I liked it. There are so many builds you can actually go in this game that you can. I don't know. I feel like I could play this game 4 times with 4 different builds and not get bored.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of stuff you can do. You can go melee, like with blades. You can go
But
unarmed and just punch people.
But here's my question, though: how viable are they? Because
They're all viable. They're
They're
all
all
viable.
The-
They
like
all can be OP as fuck.
Some combinations can actually break the game.
I'm just asking because I can also play Dark Souls 100 times in 100 different builds, but 98 of those builds would make me want to die in real
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, the thing is, okay, so you have these 5 attributes that you can level up, and one attribute is for intelligence, so like you can go into hacking. Then you have reflex, which is basically gives you more damage on.
Crit
You guys can't see my face right now, but this motherfucker is actually explaining to me RPG mechanics.
Do I have to make another segment?
What, that's why I'm saying that there's like plenty of options that
Well, yeah, I know there are
Wait,
options.
wait.
What I'm saying is,
There-
how viable are they?
They
That's
are
what I was
viable.
gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. They're plenty viable because you can be as deadly with hacking, as deadly with hacking, and also as deadly with blades, and as deadly with like normal conventional guns.
See, you could have just said that from the start. I'm just asking because, again, in Vampire the Masquerade, even though I love that game, never play guns. If you play guns,
I
you just
played
like
guns and it was great. So
again, never play guns unless you're Chris and you want to hurt yourself for some
but
weird
no,
reason.
no. We'll talk about that like off podcast. But yeah,
And you can go through the whole game without actually having a weapon. I think I haven't tested it yet, but you can. I think you can.
I think I saw a video with somebody being masochistically enough to play the game without any weapon on it.
I mean, if you go intelligence into super hacking, you could
No. I mean without hacking, like just
without
stealth.
hacking.
Stealth it
stealth?
without any weapon.
But you can't. Can you hack things like distract enemies?
No. The thing is, all I'm saying is you can go. I think there's a possibility to finish the game without hacking or any other weapon. That's what I'm saying.
I see. Okay.
So there's plenty of
Could be.
for
Yeah,
game.
I could. Speaking of hacking, the build that I made was, well, I wanted to see exactly how broken hacking is, and well, I am disappointed that the whole cyberspace portion of the game was only for story moments. It was not more explored in gameplay elements, but I think that was just cut because time constraints and a lot of other shit.
I'll get you on this part actually, because it would have been cool to have some sort of, I don't know, different mechanic there or something. But that's a lot to ask.
One of the things that basically broke the game for me, at least, I wanted to test the limits of how easy it is to stealth your way through, and well, you can just go through the entire game with hacking the optics, and they just go blind. The NPC just continues down their program path, and you just knock them out. That's how basically you can take out the entire game, and you just won, except for boss fights.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's basically how I did the majority of things. The Arasaka Tower, the mall, to give 2 examples that were discussed later down.
You can actually stealth
Yeah, but it
Well,
makes
I
it.
got past the boss from the mall, so
Yeah, I did that.
I did that, and I was like, I felt dirty.
There was some big ass Sasquatch bitch.
Uh,
I was like, nope.
yeah.
I actually also played intelligence like hacking as you, but I played it wrong. I only played with
Not
I only
surprised.
I, I only played it with like reboot optics, and when I saw how much damage contagion and the burning hack did, I was like, oh no! And I found this out like at the end of the game. I realized how wrong I played my build. And
Yeah, so as far as I can see, Daniel went with the stealth hacking. You went with no hacking.
I went
But
with
hacking.
I
Uh,
tried I tried still hacking and I did it wrong.
And
Yeah,
I went
nothing-
with more of the combat slash stealth. A lot more accent on combat hacking, like just fucking one-shotting people with short circuit.
Actually, through halfway through the game, I was like, "Yeah, I get it. Burning your the optics was just it was good, but if I said, yeah, I'm gonna go as fast as possible through this, I was just gonna basically I started blasting, you know?
Anyway, I just started blasting.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of gameplay, and we're gonna go on to the game design in terms of how the weapons feel. So, did you guys stick with only one gun, or did you
I-
continuously swap?
Personally, I went with like whatever I found that did the most DPS.
So you use the penis dagger.
No, I didn't go melee.
Never found that one.
I didn't go melee at all, and I didn't find that weapon. I heard about it, but I haven't found it. I did go like conventional, like shotgun, like rifle and gun,
Yeah, same shit.
pistol, and but by the end of the game, I went with the smart link build, like just have smart link everything. But there was like one mini boss that I don't know what happened, but the smart link wouldn't activate on him, or he would deflect everything that I was shooting at him or dodge. It was so infuriating. So I just picked up a shotgun from the floor and I killed him with that. It was so annoying. So every I've noticed ever since, because I changed my build around it, and I took a tech revolver that didn't have to charge, and that shit was like the most OP thing I had in my inventory. Even though I still mainly used my smart link sniper rifle that just like had homing shots on the head.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of, I think I could have made it better if I had like mods that could reduce the reload time. I don't know if I haven't found many of
I
those.
don't think there are.
I
Just
think
didn't find
there's.
any.
I don't know if there's mods for that or it's just a skill tree thingy.
Perhaps. I think
But-
it's a filthy. I mean, in Assault, if you go into reflexes, which I did dip into, like I had almost, I had like, I don't know, I think by the end of the game, like 13 points in reflex and like almost 20 points into intelligence. And I went with assault rifles and sniper rifles, shotguns, that kind of shit.
Yeah, no, just yeah. I'm sad I could barely find any good weapon mods. It was that's my biggest criticism on the combat thing here. There's like, oh, add 8 to your damage. That's like lame. Give me something else. I want to
Yeah,
min max
no,
the shit. I want to min max.
don't know.
Give me something.
I didn't find that many cool mods either, honestly. I think I found things that reduce your recoil to almost zero or something like that, like vertical recoil.
With smart link weapons, you don't need that because
Yeah, I
recoil
don't need it.
zero, because it has homing bullets. That was kind of annoying.
Okay, Stefan, calm down, calm down.
And it was kind of sad that you couldn't find mods for weapons, but I did find plenty of mods for clothes, like legendary mods that give you immunity to shock or poison or burn, and
Yeah,
it's
those are pretty good.
just before Eddie thinks this is gonna break the game. No, it didn't, because they cost a shit ton of money.
How about we let Edward decide for that? Edward, do you have any pills that you would like to share with us?
First off, fuck you, Fanny. Second off, for putting words in my mouth. I wasn't even thinking that. I wasn't even paying attention to you because you were fanboying.
How was I fanboying? I was.
You were.
Oh, you've been fanboying over Cyberpunk since you got your new PC. Shut up. Anyway, so the only things I have to say about the gameplay aspect and game design of the game is this game helped me realize that I don't like games in the same, let's say, ballpark as Borderlands. I hate games where my guns are dictated by a number and the enemy can sometimes be a bullet sponge, even mandatory enemies. Your average cannon fodder can take out 2 of your clips before you kill it if you don't have the level or the gun to kill it. There's nothing wrong against Cyberpunk. It just helped me realize these types of games are not for me. Second off, I'm surprised nobody here has talked about the car mechanics of the game and how poorly they handle. I hate it. It reminds me of Mafia 1's racetrack. I hate it.
I was going to get to that, but I was saving it after the whole weapon, the whole main thing.
Yeah, I don't know who designed the car handling over at CD Projekt Red, but that person needs a 101 on how cars should feel in games.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It feels like I'm trying to handle a box in space.
Yep.
In zero gravity, something like that.
I don't remember what GTA felt the same way, but oh my god, I felt the same as controlling it.
No, I think GTA felt a lot better.
Yeah, I don't agree with you on this one, Daniel. I'm sorry, but GTA 5 actually felt pretty good. It mostly depended on what type of car you got. Because if you stole a piece of shit car off the road, sure. But in Cyberpunk, every car felt the same.
Yeah, no matter what type of car it is, it's still.
When it came to handling. That's why I'm comparing it to Mafia 1's racetrack.
No. There are plenty of cars that
of course, Fan is gonna fanboy again. Okay, come on, tell me. What cars?
There is a car you can find in the desert. A reference to Batman, quote unquote. It's just a small reference. Hear me out. There is, so you can find the car in a cave. That's the reference, and with a small note next to it. Either way, that car handles really fucking well at high speeds. I think it also, I don't know.
That's one car.
Yeah, but my problem is that okay, maybe that car is special, but you said high speeds. What about low speeds? Because most of the cars I drove carefully and they still handled like shit.
Yeah.
Because if I went anything beyond second gear, I know the game doesn't have let's say a manual gear shift or whatever, but in the real world, it felt like I was driving in second gear for the most part, because if I went into third, I felt like I was gonna lose control of the car and basically kill everybody on the road. And even in second gear, sometimes it was hard to handle the car.
Really? Personally, I haven't felt that, honestly.
If three people are saying the same thing, my dude,
Did you ever use space? Do you ever use the handbrake to take corners?
No, because that's the worst way to take corners.
No, the only way you take corners is you just get out of the car, you let it go away, and you pick another car.
No,
or you fast travel.
Whenever I felt the cars that I felt I had no control of, and the situation was there was like a race in the desert with and I used the monster truck, Christy, the
beast.
Yeah, the beast. And at that point, I felt what you guys were saying. Like I couldn't control that piece of shit because there were so many bumps on that track, and I was just.
I think it's also the physics engine. It's kind of wonky when driving. Like just the driving wasn't such a pleasant experience, except if I was going like forward. If I had an open road and I didn't have to turn left or right.
Yes, my favorite type of driving, just forward.
Yeah,
To be fair, motorcycles did feel better.
yeah, they did feel a bit better.
I felt they were the same. Kind of in a way.
Weirdo.
This man is contrarian.
The only thing I have to criticize the driving for is the minimap. That's so annoying when you're going really fast and the minimap is so zoomed in on you. You can't.
Oh yeah. I agree on that one. Yeah.
You have to take a turn, so you're just like, oh shit, I had to take a turn there, and
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like you have to turn around. That's
I think
the most annoying part about driving for me.
I think that's the problem with the whole tracking issue. So yeah, that's one of the things. One thing that I believe it could have fixed this issue, and it was present in The Witcher, given it's the same engine. And I mean they are using it when the NPCs drive is the on rail options, aka you just the car is set on a rail, you just press a button and it just goes it just sticks to the road.
That was so weird watching NPCs drive. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, but
that
you
was
see,
really
you see, Stefan, when I said, yeah, I'm not gonna drive a car with an NPC because I don't feel that if I take a corner, the car won't just do a triple flip and land upright so I can continue on. So I was like, you drive.
I mean, I went with the NPC or in the car just for the extra dialogue and instant, like.
No, I think you went in the car just so you can see the car design. Don't lie to me, Stefan.
Sure. I mean, Pan Am's truck is kind of cool.
Pan Am's truck, I agree. This Pan Am's big ass truck.
and her dump truck of an ass. But yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of clapping cheeks, should we move on to sound design and the OST?
Oh boy! Oh my god!
So,
But God, I'm gonna.
prepare for Steven to blow his load on this one.
No,
Too late.
I'm more concerned because I don't know what kind of track I'm gonna use in this video without getting copyrighted to hell and back.
Wait, what do you mean? I think the old soundtrack is like copyright free.
Yeah.
So automatically this video is gonna be like is gonna be copyrighted in terms of this.
No. I at least the samurai songs, I think you can
No,
use
I'm-
them.
no,
the copyright.
Copyright in sense it's not gonna be taken down. I'm just saying it's not gonna be monetizable.
Okay.
Anyway,
It's not like we care about that, but whatever.
yeah.
Okay, so who wants to go? I'm just gonna fanboy it, and it's not gonna be coherent.
Stefan, you jerk off in the corner for now, and we're gonna take on. So guys, how did you enjoy the music?
You in the game, besides the
Radio?
tracks that you have during story bits and such, and combat music, you also have a radio, like in any sandboxy type game like GTA. I don't think I went through all of the stations. I went through, there's a like hip hop Spanish one, there's the rock one which features the aforementioned samurai songs. I think there's another rock one, there's another hip hop, English hip hop or rap.
So there's variety. That's
So
what
yeah,
I'm trying
there's
to
a
say.
little bit of variety there.
EDM.
It's okay, it's good. Samurai songs are pretty kick-ass. The combat music is pretty good. So yeah, I don't know. I think it was really well designed in that aspect. Soundtrack-wise, anyway.
Well, I'm gonna be short and sweet about this one. Given the fact that I didn't like the driving, I didn't listen to the radio. I don't know if you have the option to listen to the radio while on foot. I didn't look for it.
I don't think so. No, you don't.
No.
But I did hear that the radio at least is very well made. A lot of variety, just like Chris said. So I'm gonna give it a point for that, even though I have no idea because I think I only listened to it for like 5 minutes until I realized I hate driving and just got out of the car and did the rest of my exploring on foot.
Well, that's the reason why I
Uh,
decided to play on motorcycles, because I wanted to hear the music on the radio, but I don't want to drive a freaking car.
And as for OST, that's not radio related. Didn't really hear that many tracks. I'm pretty sure I've heard a few, but I don't know. Again, synth music, synthwave, EDM, whatever it's called, not really for me. So it usually doesn't really stick out to me in a game. And watch the Shadow Runner or whatever that one, the ninja one was called.
Ghost
That
Runner.
episode, Ghost Runner, that episode. Yeah, listen to that one for my more nuanced opinion on that. And sound design, I mean, guns sounded okay, fighting sounded okay, punches sounded very, very meaty and weighty. Though the overworld itself, like even though I complained about the NPCs, I still heard the rumble of society and people just talking on the street and you filtering it out. So yeah, that was good. And
I agree.
that's it.
Yeah, it did feel like that. In terms of stations, again, I'm gonna say it like I told you guys before, but I don't think I mentioned it in the podcast. In games like this, in open world games, especially in GTA games, I would like to always take a motorcycle and just go to a quiet place and just listen to the radio, because it's relaxing for me, at least. And this game delivered. I usually give points if to a game if it has this possible solely on this. If the radio station sucks and the motorcycle sucks, yeah, that's gonna be a point against. But this game doesn't have that problem, so it scores a point in my opinion.
Okay, so
Blow your load down, Steven.
I edged myself way too much. Okay, so in my opinion, the soundtrack and the sound design for this game gets a like, if I were to give it a score, I would give it like 10 out of 10. It's really well made. Like the when you listen to the car and it accelerates, it sounds really nice. You hear the engine rumbling, as Eddie said. There's the rumble of the city around you, and it doesn't feel as empty when you look at it. The OSTs, I'm not the biggest fan of EDM, and but it was really well made. And fun fact, each gang you fight has a different combat music for it. Most of the side missions have their own track.
Like the side, like Steven's referring to the side quests, like side missions, because there's a bunch of different categories there.
Of course, the main missions also have their tracks, but also the side missions have their
just to clarify, like you have main mission, you have side missions, then you have gigs, then you have the buying cars thingy.
Yeah,
just so people know.
And another fun fact: most of the side missions, the names of them are named after real life songs. For example, there's a mission called Imagine. There's a mission called Disaster Piece. There's a mission called what was it? Every step you make. There's a mission called Killing in the Name of. Either way.
So do we have do we have Queen missions? Queen named missions.
Yeah, I mean, as I don't know. I don't remember every name of the side missions, but yeah, there's plenty of references.
Common theme, basically.
Yeah, and there's
there are a lot of references in this game. Let's be real.
Yeah, there's so many references. And it makes it even better.
Yeah, but let's take to OST for now. Do you have anything more details to add to this?
I don't think so.
No.
Well,
You praised the radio enough, so I don't have anything else to say. So no, yeah.
Okay, so let's get on to the meat of things, which is the story. And with that, we have the warning.
Spoiler warning.
Anyway, so you, Stefan and Edward, you said you started off as corpos, right?
Yep.
Yep.
I was Nomad.
I was street kid.
Oh, you
So
got
at
it?
least,
Like,
so yeah, we have at least one of each. I believe you already mentioned how the corpo starts. Chris, do you want to enlighten us how the story of the Nomad starts?
well, basically, you're a nomad that belonged to a clan named the Backers, and this clan was assimilated into a nation because in the game, in the lore, there are like 7 nations of nomads, and each nation has a bunch of clans. And this clan that you formerly were a part of became assimilated and kind of grew tired of this whole nonsense and left. So you go towards Night City, hoping to find a better future for yourself. And you start with your own car, like a kind of a doom buggy. Not actually doom buggy, but it's kind of a beat down car. Common theme with nomads is they take a bunch of random spare parts and make something out of it, like a Frankenstein's monster. But some of them look pretty cool. Nevertheless, you get into a small town, argument with a sheriff, and afterwards you meet Jackie for this gig. And Jackie, you drive with him towards the border, you get into some issues with border control, you escape, and then that's basically it. Then the rest of the game resumes as with the other intros.
Yeah, so as established, Jackie is a crucial character, is an important character for the first part of the game. As a street kid, the first thing that happens, you start in a bar where you have to look in a mirror to because you just finished a bar fight and you basically have to straighten your nose. You basically just hear the crack, and it's at that point I realized that this game should have had at least for certain moments, or at least some functionality for VR, because just the whole thing could have been a lot better. But then again, so you start off with a game and you basically realize that the bar owner has some problems with a fixer, and he says, "Yeah, look, I'm gonna need you to get me this car because this is an exclusive car." So you're basically, if you start off as a street kid, you have to do a mission for Stefan over here, which is a car fanatic.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool car, that one.
Yeah, so you do this, and then while you talk with the fixer, you manage to get in the garage of the said building where the corporate building, and you almost manage to get the car where Jackie just pulls you out of the car with a gun to your head and is like, "Yeah, get out, I need this car for my gig." So yeah. And then the police just comes and they throw you onto the street and be like, "Get out. You get this one free."
Okay.
I wasn't quite like that. I mean, I recently played it. And they were like, okay, go in. The corporate suit that actually owns those cops was like, okay, fucking kill them.
Actually,
But the cops took mercy on you and didn't kill you.
That's what I'm trying to say. You basically got off scot-free because, despite the fact that you should have been killed.
no, actually, they weren't his cops. It was just basically like
Whatever. They were like, you know,
the car's alarm got tripped. The cops came to arrest you, and like the corpo guy didn't want to testify against you, so you're like, "Oh yeah, kill him. I don't give a shit." And since they're not there's some normal cops. They're not all bought.
Yeah.
They didn't kill you, so they
The
beat you and on
the first thing in Night City is that everyone is under corporal is basically under the corporal foothill. You can never escape. That's one thing. That's
Well-
why a lot of people try to aim high in order to get to that point.
Either way, funny thing is in the between the differences of the three starting points, Corpo V, from what I understand from the Nomad and the Street Kid V starts, that's when you meet Jackie, right?
You always meet Jackie.
That's when you meet the first in the Street Kid beginning. That's when you meet Jackie when he pulls a gun on your head when you're trying to steal the car, right?
Yeah, that's the first time.
And also for the Nomad one, right?
Yeah. Like you have a gig and then
In the Corpo beginning, you actually Corpo V actually knows Jackie for quite some time. They know him for like a couple of years because they talk about when you meet Jackie in the bar. You talk about like Mexico and how Jackie saved your life or something like that. So it's a nice variety, but still.
I don't think. Yeah, but the whole thing is after the whole introduction, you basically get a 30-minute cutscene explaining how you and Jackie started off being partners.
No,
Which-
yeah, that's what I was gonna say because I've also played the Street Kid beginning, and that it's not 30 minutes; it's like 1 minute introduction.
30 seconds, I said.
Yeah. That video is basically it fits better with the Street Kid beginning. It doesn't fit with the Corpo or like the Nomad one, honestly.
Yeah, but you can know a person, be acquainted to it, but but the video is basically showing how you and Jackie bonded over that time period, so it doesn't matter.
I think story-wise, like how it was designed, I think it's bad that you had like all those 6 months between you and Jackie, like doing jobs for like different fixers, and not actually playing it. Because when
but that's because of the next thing that happens is the actual the second part of the intro act, which is you and Jackie trying to get to, as he put it, the major leagues.
get into the major leagues, hermano or chica, whichever you chose.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That 30-second or how long it is skip scene, I would call it, is not doing any favors for Jackie, honestly. And given the fact that what happens to him.
I mean, honestly, I think one of the most impactful moments for me in the story, not the most impactful, but one of the top ones was Jackie, unfortunately, dying.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm gonna mention this. You guys said you didn't see too much of the material before the game launched.
No, although I was watching a little bit.
Basically, all the videos, all the gameplay videos, and all the cinematics that have been shown by CD Projekt Red basically spoil the whole sequence.
Yeah.
No, because if you look at it, most of the promotional material was from Act 1 until before the gig, that big gig, and also the trailer where when you have Keanu Reeves saying "Wake the fuck up, Samurai, we have a city to burn," like you have Jackie dying in that one, and it's like such a big spoiler.
That's what I said, Stefan. If you saw the promotional material, you would have been spoiled by the for the first act. True, we only see bits and pieces, but what we see are basically huge chunks of
we
it.
see important bits and pieces.
I have a small theory, though. I think I think the gig where Jackie dies, I think it was supposed to not always pan out like when that Jackie dies. I don't know. It's
From what I understood from
I
that
think-
trailer, it should have been like that. Maybe he
Yeah,
should
it
have
should
been
have
able to save Jackie, but
but I think they decided, where they show this, let's keep with this and go on, because Jackie unfortunately has, well, story-wise, has more an impact on V than by him dying. And I think that's one of the reasons that
yeah. But
mean, here's the thing: in every option that at least could have been talking about Jackie, and I chose that just so I can see if how he talks about him. You can see that he still regrets the whole thing.
Yeah, no, the actor played really well.
Things that I did that I don't remember actually in the cinematic trailer is T-Bug, because during the gig she basically dies. I don't know. She
Yeah, I
vanishes.
think she gets fried. Her brains get fried and she dies.
She
I
dies.
don't remember in the cinematic the trailer if she gets shot by Via during the whole shootout before he gets the bullet in the head. But yeah, I don't know if T-Bug could have been a character for the future, or at least to play a character that should have been an NPC. But I believe that she played such a minimal role, I don't think it actually mattered.
I mean, already at that point, she's like, what are you gonna do after this gig? I'm gonna retire, clean slate. You're never gonna hear me.
I mean, since I started the second playthrough, like every time you talk about the gig, there's so many holes in the plan, and there's like,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, Dexter Deshawn just suddenly the most infamous fixer calls you, and he's like, okay, I want to steal the most important shit in Night City for like this random chick. And when you meet with her, she's like, oh, he talks so much about you, he has such confidence in you, and you're like, yeah, we barely met.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Like,
it's there's so many holes in that plan, and you can it's foreshadowed so much. And also, as you said with T-Bug, oh, I'm gonna retire. And also Jackie, when you go with him to the bar to meet the fixer, he said, oh, let's go into the afterlife, and I'm like, oh god, okay, this guy's gonna die, you know.
At this point, if Jackie would have risen too many death flags, it would have been like it would be like a bull in a Spanish arena.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I guess you can't have multiple best friends, I guess, because after that you get Keanu Reeves as your.
Okay,
Yeah.
but seriously, did you guys get attached to Jackie? Because honestly, that skip scene of 30 seconds that should have seen the whole relationship with you and Jackie evolving as partners, that didn't have an impact. Like you said, Stefan, I would have liked if Jackie would have been a character that you actually played with during the whole game to actually have a more impact when his death would actually come.
I think it also gets into the cut content of the game,
Yeah.
because in one of the when you
I don't think it's got content, given the fact that we knew like a year or two prior.
let me explain it. They at the demo in 2018 they showed that you could go with Jackie to meet with the Militech Corpo to get the virus chip when you go to get the Flathead from the Maelstroms.
Okay.
And you can lie to her like, oh, I'm all alone, or I'm with someone, and they have a lie detector. Like you can't actually get Jackie to come with you in the main game. And I think they planned it that you could have like an NPC, a partner to come with you. Like most of the quests, but I think they cut it. So that's why Jackie had to die, I think, because he didn't have really any more like memorable like quests for him.
They didn't have any purpose because they cut that thing. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, so Jackie, for me at least, Jackie didn't have that big of an impact as a character, which is unfortunate because in terms of how he acted, I actually enjoyed a bit of his character. But being as someone who saw the material and see, yeah, you're gonna die horribly, I'm not gonna get attached to you. And besides, the game didn't make too much justice in terms of how much I should get attached to you. But I would have liked if you were alive and as an NPC, because, well, if he kept with the whole, I don't know, I believe at one point I'm trying to say is that I'm not annoyed by the way he speaks, because I get it, but certain points, I think if this game would have gone with the GTA's around, I think he would have ended up as Roman. I don't know why. With hey cousin, wanna go bowling?
Hey, hermano, wanna go to this BD strip club?
Yeah. Okay, just to summarize the whole story. So after you go do the gig where you steal a chip, you get shot in the head by your fixer, which in turn damages it kills you, damages the chip, and then you somehow revive because you were revived by the chip, and the whole game after that is basically you trying to get the chip out of you. So because it acts like a brain cancer, in which represented by Johnny Silverhand, aka Keanu Reeves. I mean, and yeah, that's basically the whole plot of the game.
Keanu Reeves 2077.
Turun, turun, turun.
And in the end you do get it out, but the game has like multiple endings and multiple variations on how you get it out. Okay guys, so what was the first ending you got?
I actually played the entire character side story so I can actually get up the good ending, quote unquote, because there are some endings I've seen them online because I was not.
One
Say.
thing, could you not spoil too much about the good ending? I want to play it myself so badly.
Basically, I went the following way. I started out as a street kid. I ended up with Pan Am because
Of course.
and I went with the option where he basically went through with the whole plan and etc. There are multiple endings, which some are okay, some are eh. There's one that even goes as far as if you cannot decide, Johnny just basically gives you a hidden option.
Just explain the ending you got done. The first one.
Well, you start out, you decide that you need help in order to get. You don't trust the one of the characters that is with Arasaka, and you say, "Yeah, I'm gonna break into the Arasaka tower, and I'm gonna get into the mainframe where I get some help from outside from an AI that can help me remove Johnny's conscience and quote unquote save me from the whole thing." And the ending is just you riding off with Pan Am into the desert.
Sounds great to me, man.
What?
Sounds great to me, man.
Yeah, there is also. You may want to cover your ears for like 10 seconds or so.
Okay, sure.
So the thing is, it's a bit bittersweet because we still don't know if the chip actually is gonna kill you or not. So it's still left open to interpretation.
Or for a sequel. To
I don't think the game is gonna have a sequel, honestly.
Okay, we done with the spoiling?
Okay,
Yeah, this is the whole summarization because the whole thing is it's a whole long ending, and honestly, it feels as if it's the better choice.
It
in
is.
my
I
Well-
mean, between all the others that I know of and Steven knows of, like, you
They're all
have a-
depressing. Like
yeah, they're all fucking
I
depressing.
saw all of them, and honestly, the one that I chose was actually the more bittersweet, the better one overall.
it's not the more bittersweet. The more bittersweet is the one that me and Christy got. Because do you want to explain it, Christy, or should I?
Sure, I can go ahead. So, when you go up on that balcony and you talk to Johnny, you have all these options, including the one Dan had, going with Panam. And you have surrendering your body to Johnny to take care of this mission to get into Arasaka, into that cyber fortress called Mikoshi. And Johnny enlists the help of Rogue, of course. So it's basically that one gig they did like 50 years ago, but this time it's gonna succeed, hopefully. You ride the chopper or AV, whatever it is, fucking bomber plane. You storm into Arasaka, you crash land into the building, you fight a bunch of fuckers. You manage to. You almost reach Mikoshi, but then this big fucker called Adam Smasher comes in, this like 99.9% cyborg fucker. You fight that guy, who unfortunately dies in the conflict. After you finish that guy off, you connect to Mikoshi, and you have a choice to make there. Either Alt comes in and it's like, listen, can't really get you back in your body because Johnny already took over most of it, and you removing Johnny would not help. You'll still die no matter what. And you're like, well, fuck, that's depressing. And you can choose either to just let V get absorbed into cyberspace by Alt, or let Johnny go, and well, V is still gonna die technically, not immediately, but yeah, it's like, I don't know, a couple of months left to live,
6 months approximately.
like terminal cancel stage type thing.
Yeah. So basically, to summarize, every ending is equal to depression. Edward. Yes.
Yeah, and after if as Johnny you give back the body to V just like becomes the most renowned merc in town. So you basically get what
You
Jack-
achieved your dream technically. You're
Yeah,
fucking filthy rich.
you achieve yours and Jackie's dream. And it's funny because since I started the corpo run, I started like going from Arasaka Tower to with an AV to a bar, and I finished with going from my home with an AV to the Afterlife bar. So it was kind of, weird in that sense.
It was ironic.
And you get another job, which is to go to space and do a heist on a space casino, and it just ends there. It fades to black. You don't actually do the gig.
Yeah.
And it's all kind of depressing because it shows that V is so desperate to be like alive that he or she gets to do even more and more dangerous missions just for a smidge chance that someone can cure the brain cancer. It's kind of
So yeah, every ending is depression. Edward, do you have any? Do you have an ending that you chosen?
Yes, my ending was called Safe Corruption.
So yeah,
And,
it's depression.
I lost progress, and I mean, it was clear throughout the discussion that I really didn't care that much about this game. And once my save got yeeted into hyperspace, I just put down the game. I said, okay, I have enough experience now to have at least a smidge of an idea of what to talk about, but nah, not for me. And that was my ending with Cyberpunk as a whole. Maybe
Yeah.
in the future I'll pick it up again if I ever feel like I want a very meaty RPG. Hopefully by then they would have patched out a lot of the bugs that are in the game currently.
Yeah.
technically.
Speaking of bugs, we're gonna need to talk about these a bit because this game, whoo boy.
One more thing, like they said, like in that apology video, that along the lines after they're gonna launch patch 1.2. By the way, at the moment of recording, patch 1.1.1 was released, and so yeah, we're waiting for patch 1.2, and apparently along the year we're gonna have a free DLC, which I don't know what that's gonna entail. Because maybe it's gonna be like they're gonna put back some
Look,
some
I don't
Look,
want to
look,
be
we don't-
the old boomer here that's jaded by life, but that free DLC you're talking about, That one is called It Used to Cost Money, but now it's a PR movement.
Or I'm fine with that, honestly.
Stefan,
But
we
That's
know
what I was
that
maybe it's either gonna be like fresh new content, or it's gonna be like they're gonna put the cut content that they took out.
look, Stefan, in terms of cut content, there's a lot. There are a lot of problems with this game.
So that's what I'm saying, because it's gonna be interesting what it's gonna be, or if it's gonna be at all. Because
For now, we're gonna discuss of what we have. What the future is unpredictable. Let's be real for now.
I mean, if I am to look at The Witcher 3, I'm pretty sure in 2 years Cyberpunk will be at a very good stage in its life.
It will.
Because I do remember The Witcher 3 was also bug riddled at launch. Apparently, a
Witcher
lot of people
3 broke
forgot
computer.
that.
Yeah,
Broke
a lot of people
computers.
forgot it.
Broke computers at launch. It literally blue screen computers and
Well, yeah.
Windows.
Well, at the very least, Cyberpunk didn't do that. It only bricked consoles. So
Yeah,
that's a
Smooth.
step up, I guess.
and save files, because I believe you suffer the same bug that everybody had, aka the 8 megabyte save file issue, which they fixed, but didn't uncorrupt your save file. Which basically, they didn't actually.
The thing is, I knew about that save file bug, and I knew you should not have one big save file and just spread out your saves. I did that, and yet still somehow the game still decided that, okay, I'm gonna corrupt your saves.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a whoops on their part.
I always had new saves, but yeah. I only had one crash in this whole game, so there's that.
You guys had crashes.
One.
after 1.1.1, I had like 3 crashes, one after the other, and I was like, "What the fuck?" the hotfix brought more problems. Goddamn.
as per usual.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game is riddled with bugs.
Yeah, there's a lot of bugs, and some of them may not affect story so much. Like there's the obvious NPCs, like not important NPCs, but those pedestrians that disappear randomly, cars disappearing randomly.
I think that's an engine limitation.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we could talk about this for the next hour. Let's just do a hierarchy, like the most important bugs. Each of us will say one we think is the most important.
Yeah, that would be.
And then we'll just go down the ladder.
Mhm.
Like for me, for example, I think the worst thing about this game is the fact that it did not work at all on PS4 base or Pro. I'm not sure which. I'm pretty sure they had
Both.
Okay, so it didn't work on the PS4, and
That's the
to the
worst.
point where they had to take it off the store and issue apology letters
And refunds.
and refunds, which is a nice thing on their part. But still, I feel like that one is one of the big boys when it comes to bugs.
Yeah, PS4 buddies got killed.
I believe Xbox as well.
Oh,
No, I'm
the
pretty sure on Xbox it's
quiet.
just unplayable. You can still play it, but you play it at 25 FPS, tanking.
With PS1 graphics, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still kind of play it. Kind of.
Kind of.
But no, the fact that it doesn't work at all, like, you basically can't boot up the game from what I understand on the PS4, that's a big no-no, and I feel like that's the king of bugs right now.
Yeah.
Anybody
Yeah,
else have any other bugs that could be at the same level?
No.
Well,
Nah.
depends
I
on.
mean,
Depends
those-
on.
that's a bug that literally fucked an entire console's like sales. So
Yeah,
I mean-
that's the biggest one. That's the biggest one.
that's
I
the
don't think we can compare it to anything.
no. Like
I mean, I could also put up there the save corrupt thingy, because that's also a game breaker.
Yeah, but it's on the
It's
on
not.
the lower scale. It's a bit lower on the scale on this
Well,
one.
yeah, but it's still in kind of the same ballpark. Like, I'm not gonna compare the corruption of a save file with a T-posing NPC. Let's be honest.
Well,
No.
That's the bottom feeder.
the thing is, you could work around a corrupt save file by having multiple save files. But
Yeah, but
I
you
mean,
shouldn't have that from the beginning.
also, I did that and I still got my save file corrupted. So
all
what
of
am
your
I supposed to do?
One bug that I
Look, I
almost
told you outside, Fane, I entered the fucking game and I had no save files.
Oh.
What the hell? Why do I have to repeat myself?
because I didn't remember all the logistics of your.
Well, yeah.
What the?
So don't be like all of your save files. Now, don't be condescending with me. I know what I saw. I entered the game, no fucking save files, and I didn't do anything to the game. It didn't even crash. I just booted it up one day, and basically the game was like, haha, fuck you.
Anyway, so a bug that I encounter pretty frequently, and unfortunately it was a bit of a sequence breaker for me, literally, was the bug where, you know how you usually talk to NPCs and it puts you in like a pseudo cutscene state where you go around and you cannot bring out your guns and you don't see your some UI elements or anything else, or you cannot heal or use anything. Yeah, that's a bug that actually affected me multiple times, where you basically finish talking with an NPC and finish the cutscene, and then you're still stuck into that. And some people say, yeah, just reload the save file. As a person that only reloads in certain, situations, like during the middle of a combat zone where I have to make sure that I don't want to reload from the beginning and go through the whole hassle. When you're in the middle of a freaking, mission where you just have to talk to people and you just finish and you cannot pull out your guns, yeah, that's kind of annoying, because not even reloading your save file, which was like 2 hours ago, for example,
but you can save. You can save at that point and then reload that save that you made it after your.
It didn't do jack shit for me. And that was the version that I played during the launch, by the way. I
never had that, fortunately. But
yeah, I tried that. People said, Joe, just reload, didn't work for me. And the only way I could have fixed that was just trying to look for an NPC that I could talk to get me into that state so I can get out of that state. And at some point I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna go that far. Not even fast traveling put me out of that state. And there were some moments where I was actually thrusted into a combat situation. I could not pull out my guns. Yeah. Thank you, game.
I think the one for me, the worst one, was sometimes lines of dialogue being skipped. Like you see the subtitles there and like barely starts talking, then it cuts, then it starts another one. And there was doing like big side missions, or yeah, I think only doing some big side missions I had that, and that was really like immersion breaking. That was annoying as fuck.
If that was your worst bug, you got lucky.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I could mention my crash, but that crash was nothing.
Okay, so I was. Thank God I started playing a month after launch, because a lot of these bugs that you're mentioning got kind of fixed. The worst one that I got was I actually I was getting out of vehicles and I couldn't jump or run, but I could pull out my guns. So yeah, and the easiest fix was basically saving and then reloading, and it would fix that issue, thankfully. Yeah, but that was the most severe one.
Yeah, so we had gameplay issues. We have the myriad of I'm sure if you just search on YouTube, Cyberpunk bug, I think you're gonna get a plethora of all.
1 hour compilation.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised.
I mean, as long as they're smallish bugs, like I don't mind the T-posing NPC every now
Yeah,
and
just
then.
ignore that.
Yeah, but the moment where your car just sinks into the ground and the only thing that's hanging you into the reality are the back tires.
No,
Yeah.
no. The thing is, I don't. As I said, game-breaking bugs, sure. Most of the bugs I've seen were, let's say, very, very low impact.
Look,
Yeah.
at some
Again,
point,
a
at some points I
T-posing. So
at some point, it feels as if this game, well, not to the point of Fallout 76, but it definitely feels in Bethesda territory.
well, no, because you see, Bethesda, they made an art out of bugging the game. Like, they release a game and people expect bugs. They meme the hell out of the bugs, and then they gain more popularity. Like, I still believe to this day, Skyrim would not have been as popular as it still is today and as relevant if not for all the bugs and memes that came out of those bugs. But they made an art out of it. CD Projekt Red just has bugs. And some of them are game breaking, and that's pretty bad. In Skyrim, I remember the worst bugs I got were again T-posing NPCs. There were a few falling through the world, but I kind of did those to myself by trying to Skyrim my way up a mountain, as they say. See, even the name for it is Skyrim.
Yes.
They made a verb out of the name when you try to.
But you know why Bethesda games are so freaking buggy is because they're trying to cram so many band-aid features on an old engine. Same thing that I believe happened to this game. They try to use the Witcher engine, which was clearly not optimized, or at least was never developed for this kind of game, and they just said, yeah, let's take this engine that has some design abilities and we're just gonna try to band-aid everything that every design that we want to put on it. For example,
did we ever talk about the fact? I don't know if you guys did. I was just doing other shit. But did you talk about the police mechanic?
Oh no, actually,
I mean,
Yeah.
wasn't that also bugged a bit?
Yeah, it is.
it's not bugged. It's broken. It's garbage. It's non-existent.
So bugged because I'm
mean,
pretty sure
fuck.
the way it works right now is you get the little star like in GTA, but after a few seconds it disappears. That's the bug, I think.
No, that's not it. That's not a bug. That's how it should. It's works as intended. The problem with the
Disappearing after like 2 seconds? No, that can't be right.
Yes, if you're going fast enough with your car, you away from the scene of the crime, you just
No,
it just
I mean
goes
like
away.
the cops don't chase.
whatever you do, cops just are retarded.
Yes.
The biggest I haven't encountered that at least, but the biggest problem with the police mechanic is that it's garbage. When you do a crime, cops spawn behind you, and
With
they
nothing personally.
and they just
And there are
nothing to do.
there are no driving police cars. Like you don't get car chased because AI police cannot drive.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a kind of a low impact, but like it doesn't really break the game. It's just a
No.
mild inconvenience.
No, it's not really a bug. It's most likely it's a broken mechanic. It doesn't work.
God,
The AI of the cops is faulty, so
Yeah.
bug.
here's a thing that while I don't believe it's a bug that can be encountered too many times, how the fast travel actually works is interesting.
It's not a bug. It's a cut content mechanic again.
No. I'm trying to say is no about the fast travel. So I was in the Nomad area with the whole set with the whole basically the base of Nomads with Pan Am and everything. I was trying to go from there to another part of town, and the way I said, yeah, I'm gonna fast travel. The loading stopped, finished, and I was still there at that location where Pan Am the base was, but I was just slightly to the side up a ladder. I was like, wait, what? How did I?
That's just a bug. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the game telling you need more exercise in your life.
Yeah, that's basically saying, that was like, and the way I was positioned was like, yeah, this game basically just tried to yeet me diagonally to that point, and I got stuck on a ladder for some odd reason, and then it finished loading.
Oh, did at some point, like, was there a story moment or something that you could not use fast travel? I couldn't use it. It said unavailable when I went to the fast travel station.
It depends what mission were you on, because
I wasn't on any mission. I didn't have anything like
No,
active.
no.
No, it didn't happen to me.
Weird.
It happened to me.
Were
I
you
don't know
speaking?
what-
Were you speaking on the phone or something like that?
No.
Okay,
No,
then that
it was for a while. Like I think I had to wait or something.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
We're still discovering bugs to this day. Anyway,
I think we can just talk to ad nauseum about bugs, and we'd have at least 5 more hours. But yeah, let's put a cap on it because I'm sure most of these are gonna be fixed.
actually,
Like,
one last thing about the controversy of the release.
by all means.
Next time CD Projekt Red, just I know you're in a rush to get the game out, but just put a disclaimer at the beginning of the game that it can cause seizures.
They
Like,
did. Well, they did after.
They did after it caused
After someone
seizures.
died.
Thank you. Like, thank you. Well, nobody died, I think. I didn't hear about anybody dying, but you know, you're aware that your game is filled with blinking lights and seizure inducing effects. Just don't do the Pokemon thing. Just make sure you. I don't know how hard it is to implement, but I'd much rather have a hard bug crash than a hard human crash in the real world. You know, like,
I don't think it's that hard to just put a disclaimer screen at the beginning of
Problem-
the
look,
thing.
I'm not a dev. I have no idea how hard it is to implement anything in a game. But when it comes to human lives, like, don't fuck around.
Well,
Take your
okay,
time with bugs, but just put that fucking disclaimer at the beginning.
Honestly, I'm glad that the whole brain dance thing is more of a cut content, because if people try to do that outside of the story missions and with the epilepsy shit, I'm sure a lot more people would have episodes of epilepsy because of that.
I mean, yeah, sure, but again, I'm sure they were aware. Like, don't think cyberpunk-ish. I mean, just looking at the trailers, you can tell that this game might induce a seizure.
They were aware of it because they had the message in the EULA that it might cause.
Who?
Motherfucker! When was the last time you read on EULA?
Exactly, I know that's the irony of things, because they put it there, but they didn't put it on the screen when you boot it up. So yeah.
That's why you put it on the screen and not in the EULA, because nobody reads the EULA.
Yeah.
You know how many contracts with Satan you've signed by just accepting the EULA with
Stefan,
every game you play?
nobody is like that guy who read the entire terms of service and found a link within the middle of the terms of service that redirected to another website, and he somehow won $1,000. Come on.
The thing is, like, it's just common sense. Just do it. Just do it. And that's all. I think, like, these three big things, the PS4 not working, the seizure warning, and the save corruption, I think these are the big three of the
for sure.
cyberpunk buggy community.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
also-
basically, there was the co-founder of the whole of CD Projekt Red had to apologize personally, but I think that was again more of a PR movement. But then again,
I mean, I'm sure they feel bad for that. Like, come on.
that was a
It-
PR move because they were expecting to get sued by so many people. Like, it's ridiculous.
I mean, yes, I'm not saying it's not a PR move, but they had to have felt bad for it. Like, come on.
I mean,
We're talking about human lives here. We're not talking about a piece of plastic not working on another piece of plastic, like the PS4 thing. Sure,
Also-
for that they might not have felt bad, but for human lives, like, I know companies are
You know-
evil and all that bullshit, but not that evil.
okay, what can I say about this is that, like you said, next time they're gonna focus a bit more on finishing their games. To be fair, I think this whole debacle actually knocked off CD Projekt Red and a lot of the people off of their high horse about expectations from this company. And next time, the hype won't actually reach those angelic levels that everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, this game is gonna be the next Jesus Christ."
I mean, just bringing Keanu Reeves into it already set up the hype limit to 1,000. So
the game was hyped because of Witcher 3, honestly,
yeah, and
because
Like
how well perceived was Witcher 3. Everybody thought, oh, they made Witcher 3, look how great this game is. Cyberpunk is gonna be 10 times better, and that's why there was such a hype fest.
I don't think
Yeah.
there was just one singular reason why it was so hyped out. There were a myriad of reasons. Like,
yeah. Just
Again.
keep fighting on.
yeah,
course.
you just keep piling on and keep piling on. And again, as I said when I discussed a bit about The Last of Us 2, marketing is everything with the video game industry, and sometimes it backfires. It did for Cyberpunk 2 because they.
And I think it's gonna backfire for many more games in the future, not just this one.
Yeah, because nowadays I feel like marketing departments don't really talk to the game devs to know exactly what they're gonna do. They just like, okay, let's make it as bombastic as possible.
That's
Let's
because
get all of those clicks. Let's
that's
get
what
Keanu Reeves on it. And
Okay.
then you underdeliver.
I think Keanu Reeves was actually because of I think there was not a marketing ploy. I think that was just a casting thing. Like,
Keanu was the
Well,
best.
well, look,
So
yes, it was a casting thing, but having him on stage once they presented the release date for Cyberpunk, that was a marketing.
Yeah,
Of course.
Yes, it was.
But
And that's the thing, you just raise and raise and raise expectations, and then you under deliver because of time constraints. And it's happened with The Last of Us because of some stupid decisions in the marketing department. I feel like it happened with Cyberpunk 2.
The only difference I can see between these two games is that at least the CD Projekt Red actually is trying to own up to their problems and fix the game and apologize for all the problems, while Naughty Dog is like, oh no, you don't get it, you just hate the game and you hate everything. And
Wait,
you-
Well, yeah,
Wait,
because Naughty
wait a
Dog
minute,
really.
no. The Last of Us 2 didn't come out broken and unplayable.
Yeah, that's
might-
what I was gonna say.
You might have different opinions of how the story went, if you like it or not. But the biggest problem with Cyberpunk is not its story. That's the highlight of it. That's the best part of it.
I'm trying to.
Keanu Reeves is the best part of it. It's like,
Stefan, calm down.
The thing is, Naughty Dog can't really fix the story. Fixing
No.
the story means taking the game off the market and releasing another game.
yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that the difference between how the two companies responded to criticism, the different in terms of what actually happened, it's different. But how they responded, it's
Well, yeah, because Naughty Dog basically can't really do much at this point. The best they can do is release a DLC to kind of try and fix
Dan, what
the
do you
story
want?
a bit.
An apology video from the Naughty Dog CEO? Like, we're sorry, our story is so garbage.
I'm not trying to say that they have to apologize. I just have to say that they shouldn't have reacted how they did.
Like what?
I mean-
Not apologizing?
No, not no. I believe one of the writers, or I believe one of the directors of the game went on a tirade with all the critics.
Well, yeah, but you can't hold the entire company accountable for the actions of one idiot.
Yeah, but the one idiot is kind of like a big shot in the company. That's the thing.
Yeah, and it's not the first time you hear about directors being bitchy about people criticizing their art. Like, just look at the movie industry. You'll find a ton of examples there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, okay, it's the way that people respond to the whole criticism. That's the whole thing. It's just,
Look, Dan, we all know here you have a little bias against Naughty Dog and The Last of Us, so just keep it cool, man. Chill.
and honestly, I wish I didn't, because I wanted to like them, but they just make so many wrong moves that I don't.
Yeah, they made some wrong moves with
I mean,
The Last of Us too.
don't play their games, Dan.
Yeah,
Like-
look,
Like I could.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, he can't. He doesn't have a PS4.
That's what
Either
I was
way.
saying. You're way too passionate about something you didn't even play.
Look,
I didn't play it, and I still think my opinions are valid on whatever they did.
that's an invalid argument, my friend.
Either way, back to Cyberpunk.
yeah. Let's let go of that topic.
Well, yeah, that's what yeah, we diverged because I was comparing the two. But the thing is, marketing departments, get your shit together and
Yeah.
communicate more.
They will never, because that's basically their job.
Well, yes,
I know.
but how many times will they fuck up until they realize? Because at some point you will realize, like,
Well,
they fucked up.
okay,
They fucked up now. Somebody else fucked up before. You learn from history.
They're
I'm pretty
bas-
sure.
No, they won't, because it's the same thing as with movie hypes.
So from what I've seen and like in videos about this game, this game was announced like in 2013, and from what I've learned, the actual the meaty of the development, the actual development started in 2016.
Yeah, because Witcher 3 was launched in 2015. Of course, they would not start another game midway production of the third game in the Witcher series. Like, that's logical.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that the game, I don't know if you noticed, but even in 2013, the game was getting hype. I don't know. It's
That's because CD Projekt Red. Because The Witcher 2 was actually a good game.
yeah.
It was a snowball effect.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but people didn't actually. But it died down, and then it came back up when it back in like 2017 when it was back again announced. So that's the reason.
No, it's basically when all the trailers started coming out with like
Yeah, that's,
story and gameplay and whatnot.
I feel like it started once Keanu Reeves stepped on stage and
Yeah.
was
No.
in that one trailer.
that was just the Avalanche.
Like not even like even before even the
Yeah, but
even
before it was, you know, it was
when
it wasn't stonks. It was gradually going up. Once
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves stepped on the stage, boom, stonks. You
Mm.
suddenly the whole market crashed.
Yeah, and speaking of speaking of stonks, they still haven't they still have not recovered from the launch.
They'll recover. Like
That-
give them a year
in
to
terms
get
of
the
in terms of stocks, CD Projekt Red lost at their lowest 50%
look
in
that
market value.
Look, Daniel, if Nintendo could recover after the Nintendo Wii U, I'm pretty sure everybody anywhere can recover from anything. They came back swinging with the Switch. CD Projekt Red might come back swinging with something else,
Witcher 4.
Witcher, whatever, something. For example, repairing Cyberpunk and making it amazing.
Yeah.
Well, not amazing, because from what I understand from you guys and other people, it is amazing as it stands, but it needs a lot of work to be playable
Look,
and stable.
as my final thoughts of this game, and to round out this entire whole discussion that we have been debating and discussing for the past 2 hours? 2 hours, I believe.
Yes.
I enjoyed this game. I don't regret playing it. However, after I finished playing it, I deleted the game because I wanted to play it next time in a more stable manner. And I remember a lot of things that happened, and I'm glad I played it.
Well, riding off Dan's opinion here, I also enjoyed the game a lot. Really impactful moments throughout the story. Soundtrack was amazing. Gameplay is good, but I really want to wait for my next playthrough a little bit more. Even though I already started a little bit because Steven hyped me up, but yeah, I'll wait for some patches and then hopefully the cut content as well to fully enjoy every little piece that this game has to offer.
On my end, it's a good thing I started a month later after launch. I think that helped on my opinion of this game. I even with all the possible cut content and all the bugs that I've encountered, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I even started a second playthrough. So yeah, I definitely do not regret playing this game. I can't wait for the DLC to come out so I can retry it again and see what else would have changed at that moment. And I hope CDPR is gonna take this seriously, as they said in their apology video, and fix most of the game breaking bugs, and so that everybody can enjoy it as it was meant to.
Edward, are you gonna come back to Night City after the whole thing is fixed? At least to finish it properly from top to bottom, merely just the story.
Probably not. Not because I don't really like the game. How should I put this? I think this game came into my life at the wrong time because I really feel like I have no need to play a big RPG right now. So I kind of had to wade my way through what I played until my save corrupted. It didn't really help that a lot of people around me were praising the hell out of the game, were so hyped to play it, and just talking about it in general that I kind of got fed up with just hearing about Cyberpunk. And well, who knows? I mean, I've said about games in the past that I would never touch them, and then I touched them and loved them, like Mass Effect, for example. Always remember saying I'm never gonna play that franchise. and then I played it, and now it's one of my favorites. So
Defend it till your deathbed.
So
yes,
you're
exactly.
basically me with Witcher 3 because I've heard it on the internet like such a masterpiece, perfect game, blah blah blah. Just play it, and I felt so put off, and I still have yet to play it. So maybe it's gonna
Well,
be the
yes,
same.
but you see, if you're gonna take anything from my stories, now Mass Effect, the franchise, is one of my favorites in the gaming industry. So maybe you should take a little hint, nudge, nudge, and play The Witcher 3, and maybe it's gonna become your favorite RPG in some sort of genre. But anyway,
Hey, stop playing Total War Warhammer 2. Hint.
and I really appreciated about the game that it taught me something about myself as somebody who enjoys games. That I do not like for numbers to dictate how much damage I deal out to an enemy.
The more you know.
Yep, it taught me something. But I think it also depends on the game because New Vegas does that, and I love New Vegas. So who knows? Still got a ways to discover myself as somebody who enjoys
Not
games.
now, but maybe in a couple of years. Who knows? This game is here to stay, and it's not gonna disappear on like the PS4 the PS4 market.
Yep, that is true. But yeah, those are my final thoughts on Cyber.
Okay, guys. So let's round this up with the next game. Next time on Game versus Bias, we're gonna talk about what was decided to be the next game, guys.
I'm gonna butcher this name, but it's the Dungeon of Naheulbeuk, or
Naheulbeuk.
Naheulbeuk, the Amulet of Chaos.
Gesundheit.
Yes, exactly.